Joining us now on the John Fredericks Show, Lou Barletta. Lou Barletta has a very long and rich history. He was mayor of Hazleton. He was one of the leaders of the immigration debate, the illegal alien debate many years ago. He also served as a Republican United States congressman from Pennsylvania. He ran for the United States Senate in 2018 in the midterms, did not prove successful there. And Lou also was the chairman of the Trump campaign in Virginia in Pennsylvania in 2016, pulling off that humongo upset along with Tom Marino. They were co-chairs there. So great job they did in Pennsylvania, no doubt. And he is joining us now. He's also got some things going on with the Italian-American community we're going to get to. But Congressman Barletta, first, let's go to baseball, where you're a lifetime Yankees fan. I'm a lifetime Astros fan. 11 games to go. We are currently tied for the best record in baseball, vying for that home field advantage. I want 4 games in Houston. You want them in the Bronx. People don't follow this stuff. The Astros have never played well at Yankee Stadium, ever. They lost 3 out of 4 games this season there. The Yankees never played well in Minute Maid. We swept them there earlier in the season. And in the divisional playoffs in 2017, the Yankees won the 3 games in the Bronx, and the Astros won the 3 games in Texas. So this is a big deal. So they're tied today, Lou. 11 games to go, but the Astros hold a tiebreaker. So if it ends in a tie, you lose. What do you think?
Well, I think it's going to come down to the wire, John. And I have no doubt that the Yankees will prevail. I know you don't want to hear that, but I think their long history and experience in the playoffs and in clutch situations, they're playing really well right now, as the Astros are. It's going to be exciting. I think we can both agree on that it's going to be exciting, and the next world champion will either be the Yankees or the Astros.
Well, I agree with that. And, think about this. Neither of us are a pennant race, because the Yankees they're up by like 9 or 10. The Astros are up by 8. So it's a couple days before this is over. But like every game, you're on the edge of your seat, right? Because you're trying to get this home field advantage. So it could come down to the final game or games, and it's also going to have an impact. It's also going to have an impact on the first series we play, because, for instance, just play this out. You're the Astros. You've got a 9-game. You've already clinched it. All right. You're tied on the final day with the Yankees. If you win, you get the best record. If you don't and they win, you got to play 4 games in New York. Verlander set to pitch on Sunday. Are you going to pitch Verlander, or are you going to wait and pitch him in the first game, the Twins or the winner of the wild card, right? See how that plays in? Same thing with Severino. Do you pitch him on the final day or the final Saturday or Sunday, or do you wait until the playoffs? So it has larger implications. See how I've thought all this through, Lou?
I can see that. I can see that, and I hope you're not disappointed. But in a way, I am, John, because I'm a big Yankee fan. I don't think we could overlook the Twins. They've got a heck of a lineup, a very powerful team. But what you don't want to see now is a key injury by either team, because they're both great teams, and the playoffs should be exciting. But you're right, the home field advantage, I think, is going to make the difference.
I think whoever gets the home field has a leg up, no question. I certainly don't want to have a 3-2 lead after winning a couple games at home, or maybe 3 at home, and having to go back to New York for 2 games in that environment. So we'll see how it plays out. All right,
John,
Lou,
if I could just say, your lead-in song actually hurt me a little bit. If I can switch to football, there was a part of that song that said the Dolphins make me cry. I'm a Miami Dolphin fan, and I don't think better words could have been sung.
I really don't know what to say. This is undoubtedly the worst team this year in football, maybe for a long time. But it's 1 year of pain because I think they got a bunch of draft picks from the Texans, didn't they?
They do. They have a couple of first round and second round picks for the next couple of years, but I think Alabama would beat them this year.
Yeah, they've lost 2 games by now, a combined score of 90-5 or something, not 90-7. Yeah,
thank goodness the Yankees are playing good. I don't have to watch
the
Dolphins right now.
It's pretty sad, but every once in a while, a team's got to go through this rebuild. But I was just on the phone with Ben Tribbett earlier, and he's like, worst place to be is 7-9, 8-8, 9-7. I was, you're better off going 0-16, get and doing the rebuild. Okay, Lou, let's get to national politics and then to your agenda for today. Boy, you look at every poll after poll after poll, Trump underwater all over the place. How do you win?
I don't believe any of that. This just reminds me of 2016 again. Co-chairing the campaign for Donald Trump in Pennsylvania. Nobody said he could win. They said he had no chance of winning, and all the polls, showed that he was behind. And in fact, it was just a couple weeks before the election. I was with Donald Trump in Gettysburg, and we were backstage, and I know at the time they were saying that he was down by 6 points with 2 weeks to go in the election and sliding. And I had a good conversation telling him, don't believe the polls in Pennsylvania. And I told him why, because he had the vote of the blue-collar workers in Pennsylvania, the union workers, who had Trump stickers on their toolboxes. I saw Trump signs where I never saw a Trump sign before, and if they couldn't get a sign, they made one. And those union Democrats, men and women, were not ever going to tell a pollster that they were voting for a Republican. Mm-hmm. And there are underground Trumpers, and they are still there. He hasn't disappointed them. He's fighting for their workers. He's going to win Pennsylvania by a bigger margin than he won before.
Really? You think he can win again?
They didn't believe me then, but I was right, and I'm going to be right again.
So you think he can? If you think he's going to win Pennsylvania again, only bigger? I
do. I believe he's going to win Pennsylvania only bigger. And people looked at me starry-eyed when I said that he was going to win Pennsylvania in the first place, and I got a pretty good feel for what's going on here, and people in Pennsylvania are not disappointed. He's fighting for the worker, for the forgotten men and women were not forgotten by Donald Trump, and that's what they liked about him.
Lou, are you going to be active in the campaign?
I'll do whatever the president wants me to do. I've said to the campaign, if he wants me on the field, I'll be on the field. If he wants me in the bleachers, I'll stay in the bleachers. If they don't want me involved, I won't be involved. I'll do whatever I can. I believe in what he's doing, and was proud to be part of his campaign team before, and would think that I would have a role here in Pennsylvania, especially if we can repeat what we did in 2016.
Well, you absolutely should have a role, and I hope it's a big one, because you were one of the guiders that engineered that tremendous Pennsylvania victory that, like you said, nobody saw coming, and everybody had written it off. Clinton had already counted it, and you pulled that upset. Now you're saying you have a shot to win it again. Lou, I want to thank you for that. I know you wanted to get on today because you're also involved with the Italian American community, and I was wondering if you could share some of the things going on there.
Sure. I'm obviously a proud Italian American. My family have long roots, and I got involved. Right now I'm heading up a coalition, which what the primary goal is to prevent United States tariffs from targeting Italian food companies. And you might ask, how did that happen, and why would there be tariffs targeting Italian food companies? And it goes back to a 15-year battle where 4 EU members, European Union members, France, Spain, United Kingdom, and Germany, were illegally subsidizing Airbus, a French airplane manufacturer. The United States filed a complaint, and in 2018, the World Trade Organization ruled that, in fact, Airbus has received illegal subsidies from these 4 countries. Therefore, the United States were entitled to retaliatory tariffs on products. Unfortunately, for some reason, Italian food companies will be part of those tariffs.
What?
Foods like pasta,
What?
coffee, sweet biscuits, and wafers. And being a Italian American, I have to stand up and say, listen, Italy had nothing to do with this. I agree with the president. That's why we love him. He's fighting for the American worker. But let's punish the bad actors. Let's punish the countries who were involved in this. Italy had nothing to do with it at all. They were never part of the complaint. They will never be part of the complaint. However, those tariffs will have implications not only in Italy to those companies, but really here. Think about it, John. These mom and pop Italian communities, we all know them. We all have our favorite Italian markets. I mean, I think of the Philadelphia Italian market or Little Italy, and these type of stores. It's part of American culture,
Right.
and it will affect our economy. It'll affect these businesses, and really, as I said, Italy. Let's double down on and punish the guys who were bad. Let's make an example of them, but don't include Italy. They had nothing to do with it.
That doesn't make any sense at all. So it's kind of an administrative situation where Italian food products are getting caught up in this Airbus retaliatory tariff. And by the way, we're with Lou Barletta, former Republican U.S. Congressman, Pennsylvania, former mayor of Hazleton, Pennsylvania, U.S. Senate, Canada, 2018, Pennsylvania. Lou, so let's be clear. These food products that are being tariffed, these Italian food products, really, they have nothing to do with Italy, and they have nothing to do with the food products themselves, and there's no retaliatory battles going on. It's just an administrative faux pas, right? That's come into play here.
Yeah, and rightfully so. United States has a right to again punish those that are involved. But I think this is a case, and I agree with the president's the way he's handled tariffs to try to attract business back here to the United States. I think he's been incredibly successful in dealing with these other countries. But John, I think this is the one time where a scalpel needs to be used, because these are retaliatory tariffs. This isn't over a trade war. This was to punish again, and rightfully so. And the World Trade Organization agrees to punish the countries who were illegally hurting the United States through subsidizing Airbus. Well, I think those retaliatory tariffs should go directly to those bad actors. Let's make an example out of them. But let's not hurt an innocent bystander. Let's not hurt Italy, who's a part of American culture. And I say this half tongue-in-cheek, but really, I think there's some real value into it. What's America without pasta? I mean, we could all think of our favorite Italian restaurants. Why punish the consumers here in America? Why punish these small mom-and-pop Italian stores and markets that are throughout the United States? And let's make sure that we show the world that if you wrong the United States, there's going to be, the president's a counterpuncher. But let's not hit an innocent bystander. We don't need a machete in this case. I think we need a scalpel.
Okay, so let's carve those out, basically, because it's not fair to small Italian entrepreneurs and those that own markets and sell these products. Not fair to them. They had nothing to do with this. So let's carve that out. How do you bring attention to this? How do you do that? And if we have people listening to us now that say, yeah, that's just not fair, what's the call to action?
Well, the call to action is actually I've been heading up this coalition, trying to get the word out, try to get this in front of everyone, because many people can't believe, after they hear this, why would Italy be part of it? If they're a great friend of the United States, they love the president. And there's so many proud Italian Americans here that are important to our economy. So I think we need to be vocal. I think people need to pay attention, support the president and what he's doing, but let's make sure that an innocent country that will affect all of us in the United States aren't drug into something that they didn't have anything to do with, and they should be rewarded, because they could have been part of those subsidies, obviously, being part of the EU, but they chose not to. So let's show the world that, listen, this is the way we're going to treat the bad actors the way they should be treated, but we're going to reward the countries who stand with America. We've been importing these products into the United States for over 150 years. It's been part of American culture. And it matters. I mean, I know some of these small Italian markets and stores and restaurants, and they depend on us. They see their products, being tariffed and the prices going through the roof. It's going to hurt us here in the United States, hurt our economy, hurt our consumers, and do nothing. It won't do anything to punish those four countries, Spain, France, UK, and Germany, for what they did.
I mean, this is so clear. Here's, again, one of these things where there's got to be carve out. Logic has to prevail. Everybody gets the big picture. I think you explained this, Lou, very well. You're very articulate in doing that. But we need to have a safe space here, or these companies not be part of this tariff thing, because it's going to hurt mom and pop retailers for no reason, and has no benefit other than to do that. So hopefully, as heading up this coalition, Lou, if there's anybody that's going to get this done, it's going to be Lou Barletta. Let's switch gears to the New York Times. So, Lou, you have been a victim of many fake news attacks when you ran for U.S. Senate in the midterms, right? I saw many of them with my own eyes, as you know. And let's go to the New York Times. On Saturday, they put a story out that basically says that Justice Kavanaugh allegedly has sexual misconduct with a female at a party in Yale. Nothing corroborated, no witnesses, right? Nothing. Put the story out. 6 presidential candidates on the Democratic side immediately jumped to conclusions and demanded he resign, or demanded he be impeached, right? So now they want to impeach everybody. So they want him impeached. 24 hours later, the New York Times then puts a disclaimer out, changes the story. This is unbelievable to me. And puts out a disclaimer that says, well, truth be told, there was no witnesses, and the alleged victim said she doesn't recall the incident and doesn't want to testify or talk about it, but she does not recall the incident. But it stayed up there for 24 hours before this disclaimer came out. And now the liberals in the media that ran all over with the story for a day are now just blowing it off. Have you ever seen anything like this in your life, Lo?
No, I've never seen a political figure, a derangement over a political figure in my life as I've seen with what they've done to President Trump, his family, anybody associated with him, his supporters. I mean, it goes on to the point where those that have that derangement, they can't see the forest through the trees. They're going to wake up again today and hopefully find something else that they could do. Obviously Justice Kavanaugh was a pick from President Trump, so therefore he has to be impeached on anything that they could find, true or untrue, whether they have evidence or none. They don't wait. I don't want a president. These candidates that came out and said he should be impeached without getting any kind of facts, just jumping to conclusions like that. They're part of what's happening, and they're part of the reason that Donald Trump's going to win by a bigger margin, because people are fatigued. They're fatigued by this every day. It's every day. Tomorrow, don't get excited about Justice Kavanaugh, because tomorrow they're going to find something different. And that's just been the case. And in the meantime, nobody's working on infrastructure. They're not talking about fixing our healthcare system. They're not talking about, the forgotten men and women that Donald Trump gets up every day and fights for. All they do is see, what can we get today, and let the media help us to see if we can impeach him. There's an election. You don't like it, then go to the ballot box and vote. But the American people voted for Donald Trump, and they have an obligation to try to work with him on the problems that we have. We have an open borders. We have drugs coming into our country. And today, all they're worried about, let's get somebody who's associated with Donald Trump, because we can't get him. So it's a derangement. It's the people are fatigued and tired of it. And again, that's why President Trump's going to win by a bigger margin.
Lou Barletta, we thank you for that analysis. We also thank you for what you're doing for the Italian American community. Lou, thank you so much, and we appreciate you getting the word out. We have to have you back on to get your commentary as a regular guest, especially as we get closer to postseason playoff Yankees-Astros baseball. Of course, we're talking here today, and here's a scenario I don't want. The the ALCS is between like Twins and Oakland. So let's hope that doesn't happen. Don't count your eggs, right?
Well,
the saying goes.
In the meantime, John, let's make sure nobody takes our pasta away from us.
Exactly. People want more info on this, Lou. Where do they go?
Well, they could talk to their elected officials and let their voices be heard. That's what it's going to take, because in the next month, I would imagine these decisions will come out. But I think it's important that the voice of the people need to be heard. That, listen, we support what the president's doing, but let's not punish an innocent bystander. And let's make sure that Italian food companies, especially those that I said that are uniquely Italian, pasta, coffee, sweet biscuits, wafers, part of American culture, aren't hurt.
Lou, thank you for being with us.